I can go next. So let me give it another try to prove to the guests on the call that we do have working IT actually. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. It came through.
I believe it. Okay, perfect. So I prepared 2 slides with tons of bullet points and text. No, obviously not. I just want to briefly walk you through my career path. First, the how I made my way to Bayer, and then on the second slide, I will show you a little bit what I did within Bayer, and then we can take that as a starting point for our further discussion. So let me start. So just very briefly, I'm by now 41 years old, so I'm no longer a very young scientist. I come from southern Germany. If I was speaking German, most of you would probably still hear that. I think it's better in English, and I'm a chemist by training. I also went through a very standard academic career path, I would say. I studied chemistry in Würzburg. I also spent about 8 months during my PhD in Dublin at Trinity College, where I did some research together with a cooperation partner that we had back in the days. And what I did there was really standard organic chemistry. I worked a lot in porphyrin chemistry, dye chemistry, but also in structure elucidation of natural compounds. And as most chemists do, I also decided then to also do a postdoc. So after my time in Würzburg in 2010, I went to the Scripps Research Institute in La Jolla. Some of you might know, if there's chemists in the call that are interested in total synthesis, you might also know Phil Barron, who was my postdoc supervisor. So I joined Phil's group in January 2011, and there I wanted to really step even deeper in the hardcore organic total synthesis. So I worked on total synthesis of terpene natural products. And I still remember, I mean, you can see it from the picture. If you know La Jolla, it's just north of San Diego, very southern part of California. Obviously a great place to be, not only for science, but also for your spare time. I think one of the most popular surfing beaches is just like 5 minutes a car drive from the institute. So lots of people would go there during lunch break and have a good time. Also, of course, I have to say, I mean, it was a very intense time where we worked a lot and also a very inspiring time. I think it was during that time that I really learned it doesn't take much of fancy lab equipment and to really do great science, but rather just a bunch of inspiring people that are really top of class in what they are doing. And I still have tons of friends from back in the days that I'm regularly in touch with. When I was doing my postdoc in La Jolla, I was still very undecided, to be honest, whether I would stay in academia and become a professor, which was more or less my plan A for I don't know how many years. I think I was 10 when I told my mom I want to be a professor. And that was still very much true when I started at Scripps. Also, that changed a little bit while I was working there, and then I ended up really sending out applications in 2012, and I sent applications in parallel to academia jobs, but also to a lot of the big pharma industry companies in Germany. I then ended up going on an interview tour and was happy enough to get a few offers to actually join industry. And at this point, it was a part of why I joined industry was because I mean, you might imagine if you apply in academia, it takes like weeks or rather months until you get feedback and invited. And I had already received quite a few offers from industry while I was still waiting for the academia feedback, so to say. And then it was more or less by accident that I said, well, okay, let's do this. I'm going to join Bayer. And I was also happy enough back then to really have the opportunity to choose between a job in medicinal chemistry in Berlin, or on the other hand, a job in process chemistry in Wuppertal. And it was really a tough decision to make for me. So I was thinking back and forth, what do I want to do? Am I really interested in medicinal chemistry, so more in the biological background, biochemistry part, or really into chemistry? And a lot of friends also said, I mean, honestly, it's not even the choice between between process chemistry and medicinal chemistry, Daniel. It's more the choice between Berlin and Wuppertal, right? If you have the chance to go to Berlin, why would you go to Wuppertal? But so this also maybe emphasizes how interested I always was in really doing chemistry. And so I did decide not to go to Berlin, but I joined the process chemistry group in chemical development in Wuppertal in 2012. And this is, how I made my way to Bayer. I've been there now since 2012 with Bayer. I had that job in chemical development for a little more than 5 years. Up here you see my lab team back in the days. And so I was really able, and I always enjoyed that. And I'm still looking back to the times there, and I'm still in close exchange with the colleagues from chemical development, where I was then really able to translate my chemistry knowledge into real application. In the first half of my time there, I worked a lot on early projects, so projects that we had just taken over from research, where then the main task of a process chemist really is to very quickly supply material for clinical studies. And then in the second half of my time there, I switched a little bit and worked a lot on late stage projects. So projects that go more into the direction of industrialization, where you then really think of big upscaling factors. Up here, you see myself standing next to an 800-liter reactor. And it was during those days where I really realized that chemistry is the one thing I really liked, but what I liked even more was really seeing that you can run a reaction or work out a reaction on 2, 3, 4, 5 liter scale in a lab, which coming from academia is already large scale, right? But then if you see the same reaction is also running at 600 liter scale in the pilot plant, that was what really inspired me, and I was super interested in going that direction further. And this was why it was to me really a logical step to then switch from R&D chemical development to product supply. And in 2017, I became part of the plant managed team of Bayer's strategic launch facility. Pharma-TR stands for Pharma Technischer Raum. In Wuppertal is the building that you see here, a pretty old building, but still a very important building. Bayer is still producing more than 10 active pharmaceutical ingredients for some of our most important marketed products. And as I said, it's our strategic launch facility. So a lot of our products that we newly introduce into the market are first time produced on large scale in this building. It's a multi-purpose plant operating 24/7 with 120 employees on 5-shift service. And I really had the chance to support lots of the technology transfers coming from the colleagues that I had previous worked together in R&D, and then really work on the industrialization of some of our most important products. I did that for 3.5 years, and then only last summer in 2021, I decided I wanted to do again something different. And after I had been in very operational jobs, as you've seen, and jobs that are really close to chemistry, chemical engineering, I decided, well, let's maybe step a little bit out of my comfort zone and go a little different direction. And I had the chance to really step into a dual role, where on the one hand, I am more or less spending 50% of my time now being an assessment lead for due diligences. So I lead the technical assessment of due diligences. So whenever Bayer looks into buying or acquiring an external project or a smaller company, I am the one who's leading the technical assessment. So I look into the company, I look into the product portfolio, I look into the technologies that they use, the scalability of and the chemistry of the APIs, and then more or less support the management decision in the end whether we will buy an asset And then on the other part, the other 50%, I'm the chief of staff to the head of PS API. So very different topic, where I am supporting Timo Flessner, who's the head of PS API, which is a function with 3,500 employees. So a very large function with 4 global sites. And there I really have the chance to interact a lot with senior management, get in touch with very different topics for me as a scientist, a lot of strategy, finance, investment topics, and so on. And this is really a new world for me, and a very steep learning curve since last summer. And I really enjoy it. So that's it from my side for now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to our discussion.